So we're processing through our reading right now, okay? So I gave you one question and you see that. And so I've got to give you a little think time right there. Why did Europeans want pepper? Let's go ahead and start the discussion. So Johnny, you're gonna go to the speaker, and Garrett, you're gonna go on deck. Do you guys see how that's working? So as Johnny and Garrett are talking, you guys are taking notes over on that left-hand side on your notepads. Johnny, let's hear from you.
So they would need pepper for their meat that they would have to kill. And to preserve the meat, you would need salt and pepper, which salt the Europeans had a lot of, but pepper would be needed to be imported.
Thank you. You can tap out. Garrett, let's hear from you.
So pepper, it was far away where it was difficult for them to get it, and so pepper was like a luxury expense that they needed to keep their meat.
So salt's the preservation, pepper's the taste, right? Like it's trying to, the taste to not make it taste rancid. All right, let's hit that next question. You touched a little bit, Garrett, on the trade routes. Why couldn't they do that through Constantinople after 1453? So I've got Logan, and then Michaela, you can be on deck. Hold on. But go ahead, Logan, let's hear from you.
After 1453, the Ottomans took over, and they were a gunpowder empire, so the European forces couldn't really take them over by force, and the Ottomans would charge heavy taxes.
Go ahead, Michaela.
Just to like build on that, this reason was kind of like what made them want to try to find another route to get directly to Asia. And also Europe didn't have like much to trade with them anyways. So finding a direct route was the main focus of the late 1400s and like leading in onto like the 14th century.
Okay. The question is, what leads the Portuguese to get into the Indian Ocean? I'm going to go with first tap-ins first. So Jasmine, George, and then Johnny. So George, let's hear it.
Well, the Portuguese, one, they didn't want to go through the land trade routes because they're being charged a lot of money and half the time are being denied access to the trade routes. So they decided to go around the southern tip of Africa, one, because there was really no one else doing it. And if you read later on, then the Chinese could have stopped them, but they decided to leave the Indian Ocean unarmed and guarded, just went right back home. So when they rounded the tip of Africa, they were able to then go control the Indian Ocean trade and control who was allowed to go in themselves instead of people on land and people in India doing it.
Thank you. Go ahead, tap out. Jasmine.
To add that to that, didn't they also want to like avoid the Muslims and the Venetians and the Egyptians to get straight to the Indian Ocean?
Okay, so right. So I mean that's building on what we just talked about, right? So they can't trade their normal trade routes. Like how do they end up getting into the Indian Ocean is the question. Go ahead, Johnny.
They have like the sailors like Henry the Navigator, which circumnavigate Africa. And the push factor was that Spain was also sailing around the world to get new past Asia. So Columbus had found a path using the west, which would push Portuguese to find their path so they wouldn't be last in the competition.
All right, thank you. Michelle, go ahead.
I was just going to say that once Columbus got a commission, they realized that people had an idea that this was possible, so they redoubled their efforts and like technologically improved too to get there.
Go ahead, Michaela. Let's hear from you. She wants to build on it.
I was gonna build on what Logan was saying because it was like Bartholomew Diaz who like finally reached the Cape of Good Hope, and then like Christopher Columbus, like that's when he came, but like it was Bartholomew Diaz in 1948 who had reached it first.
All right, let's talk about what George started to talk about, but I want to build on it a little bit more. Here we go. All right, we're gonna go with Jasmine and then Leah.
He had the Chinese themselves round the Cape of Good Hope before the Portuguese.
Michelle, let's hear from you.
He helped gain alliances and trust with other nations, and he helped with the political influence of China to like show how great China was, and with the alliances, what you would get out of trading with them.
Go ahead, Sarah. I want to hear from you.
So basically, Zhang Ha had left the Indian Ocean trade route, and then he like made it more peaceful by leaving and didn't want to cause like a trouble or anything. And he might have been the one to actually establish like the trading routes because he met up with the Portuguese.
All right, last question just to wrap it all up. Why was Portugal so successful